Hi, thank you for the invitation. I'm sorry not to be present today. And so I'm Hélène Gontcharov from AI and Cancer Research Association, which is a unique initiative born 2.5 years ago from a strategic industry contract mandated by the Ministries of Industry, Health and Research. And within this contract, the idea was to address the challenges and opportunities around data, artificial intelligence, and cancer research. And the rationale is simple, is to demonstrate the value of reusing existing data in France through concrete projects. And we operate as a public-private association with equal funding, a contribution from both sectors. And our governance is split into two major groups, public actors with National Institute of Cancer, the Health Data Hub, and the National Agency for Innovation in Healthcare, and private actors with 9 pharmaceutical companies, France Biotech, and the Research Alliance for the Health Industry, and we are chaired by Frédéric Collet. And our focus as a team is to drive project progress, to ensure shared rationales, challenges, and insight throughout the project life. And so maybe to start this presentation, an overview over generative AI, maybe Thomas, I can let you present yourself and give your perspective on generative AI.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm Thomas Walter. I'm professor at École des Mines, that's an engineering school in France, and I'm also group leader at the INSTITUT CURIE, where we have a partnership together with these institutes. And so, yeah, so my perspective is, of course, generative AI will profoundly, well, we can say revolutionize healthcare and pharmacology, as we have seen in many contributions today, and we have seen many actors today about this. And one example is, of course, large language models that will reduce the administrative burden and that will also streamline data access and completely change, actually, the patient trajectories also. So all of these are very profound challenges, but they are, I would say, general in healthcare. If we now look more concretely in oncology, then the major, I would say, the core tasks, they are really diagnosis, prognosis, and precision medicine, where we really want to predict the right treatment for the right patient. And so, in a way, these are not generative tasks, they are predictive tasks. So given the data from a patient, I want to make a prediction about the patient, right? So either about the future or about the best possible interaction to get the best possible outcome. However, generative AI also influences a lot these predictive tasks because they allow us to much better model the underlying data distributions. So generative AI is not only about generating data, generating new data, it's also good for predictive tasks. And perhaps to give a few examples, we have been working a lot with Vincent Salomon from Institut Curie, with the pathology department, to build predictive models that operate on histopathology data in order to identify groups of patients that are very unlikely to make a relapse and for which we could actually de-escalate the therapy. Or in another project, we can predict the response to a particular treatment, right? And so this has been ongoing for several years, and I would say what we have now as a very interesting opportunity is not only to build models that operate on a single modality, like models just for genomics or models just for histopathology data, we can now try to build models that integrate different views, different physical scales, the molecular scale, the cellular scale, the tissue scale, and even the patient, the full body scale, right? And for this we need particular data. And we are very happy that we have now the Institute of Women's Cancer. They have a very interesting initiative, which is the Women's Cancer Atlas, and where we get really a very detailed and in-depth characterization of a large number of patients, and where we can really try to build these models, which we have started to do now.
Thank you, Thomas, for this overview. Very interesting. And Julien, when we met you, you insist on the importance of the data itself for these models.
Yeah, because behind AI, there are data. And you all know Institut Curie, but Institut Curie is also the first French comprehensive center to have established a data office in 2017. And the aim of this structure is really to create the best condition for the use of health data for our physicians and researchers, such as Thomas' team, and also to help the development of AI and now GenAI in particular. A big achievement for us this year was to obtain the CNIL authorization for our data warehouse, and this is going to be really an essential tool for our data strategy in the coming years. And yeah, the contribution of AI and GenAI is really undeniable today, and especially because it's already transforming the way tumors are diagnosed. It's improving knowledge on pathologies. It's helping to discover new biological pathways. And now, a little bit more tomorrow, it will help physicians to the therapeutic decision making. But when I think about AI, I have in mind like a game, because it's like a game. It may take 5 minutes to learn the rules, but after that you need maybe a lot of years, several years to master it. And if you want to master AI tomorrow, I think we really need to first care about data, to know how we can structure it correctly, and we have to share it, because if we want a trustworthy AI for tomorrow, we really need to pool data or to give access in a federated way to data to be sure we can trust the future of AI. And saying that, we are also part of an important project called Partage, led by a consortium of 30 partners, including research laboratories such as CNRS, INRIA, but also healthcare institutions, Institut Curie, Saint-Léon-Bérard, Gustave Roussy, and tech companies such as Recital or Mistral. And this consortium is coordinated by the Health Data Hub. And I think Emmanuel Bakri today talked about it earlier. But this project aims really to put generative AI at the service of healthcare professionals to save them valuable medical time. And we are going to fine-tune really foundation models for specific tasks in healthcare. And it's supported by BP France. And this initiative seeks to promote the widespread of use of generative AI technology. So, yeah, of course, sometimes we are scared about data sharing, but there are risks about data sharing. We can be sure of that. But if we are really building all the secure environment to share data tomorrow, there are also ethical risks not to share data. And if you want to ensure the trustworthiness of AI and GenAI tomorrow and in the future, we need to share the data.
Yes, thank you. It's critical. And it's critical also to have use cases, as you said, to master the game. And at La Filière, we have 15 projects in run today on diverse teams: early access program, patient care pathways, diagnostic, quality of life. And within our project, we use AI for analyzing data. We use AI for extracting data, for example, via natural language processing. And now we launch project using generative AI to produce structured data. And to give a use case, we use generative AI to improve data reporting and completeness in a pilot project on early access program. This program provides patients with access to experimental treatment before regulatory approval, and thus they generate critical real-world data on safety, efficacy, and patient outcomes in real life. And the challenges in data reporting are first that there is a high volume of unstructured data. Around 80% of medical data is unstructured. And secondly, the process of reporting is a very time-intensive manual process. Thus, reporting is incomplete or inconsistent, which undermine research quality and decision-making. So to overcome these challenges, AI permits to handle unstructured data by automatically processing clinical notes and medical reports to extract key data, and thus it improves completeness by filling missing gaps. And here is the use of generative AI is to produce data to complete those missing fields. And not only to produce data, but also to produce standardized data with a format aligned for regulatory submissions and research purpose. So for this project, we are partnering with 5 innovative entities that handle generative AI models to extract key data. And during a real early access program, each partner will extract specific data selected from a core data set. And we are going to pull this data, that is the AI arm, and we will compare the completeness of this arm with the traditional arm. So let's meet in a few months for the result. And for Julien, Thomas, can you give us your perspective on the future outlook of generative AI to finish this intervention?
Go ahead, Thomas.
Okay, so maybe I start. So actually, we always think that artificial intelligence is already capable of doing everything, and that's not true. So actually, there are still a lot of technical hurdles. One of the technical hurdles is bias correction. I mean, even though there are many methods that actually exist for this, but actually it's still an unsolved problem in many occasions. Then the multimodality aspect, I have mentioned it already, but this is really a key aspect for the future, and I really see this as the future steps, really. But for this, we really need more data for this, and the data sets for this, they're really scarce. Obviously, because more modalities you have, the smaller the patient cohorts actually get, because it needs to be complete. And beyond that, and that is now really a bit more kind of a visionary, I would say, what we sometimes forget is that AI is providing statistical models, right? This is what today's AI does. But in the end, as scientists, we want to have mechanistic models, right? And to reconcile statistical models with mechanistic models, this is clearly a very interesting future perspective.
And maybe my final message would be that physicians have just absorbed the digital transformation of their activity during the last 15 or 20 years. And there are still significant disparities. And now they are being told to use AI. And I really love my physicians, but most of them, it's still like giving a knife to a chicken. So we really need to support them. We really need to train them in the use of all these tools. And this could happen now, and really without any delay, if we want to be sure that we will be able to use AI in routine tomorrow in a clinical way, and also for researchers. So that would be probably my final message, and it should be part of the strategic roadmap of any academic centers.
Thank you very much. So I understand that generative AI is an improvement among others in AI model. Many improvements are going to come, and it's not a disruptive one, but it's one among other improvements. So thank you very much for this overview.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you.